This is Tatiana, Math Resources, and we're looking at a past mathematics qualifying exam, the year 2019. And this video is being done for some students that requested the video. Question 1. Using a calculator or otherwise, calculate 9.72 times 12.05. Given your answer, part 1, exactly. So let's type that into the calculator and your answer should be 117.126. That's the exact answer for 1 mark. Part 2, to 2 decimal places. So 117.26, the exact answer, must be given to 2 decimal places. So let's recognize that there are 3 digits after the decimal point. According to this, it only wants 2 numbers after the decimal point. So we're going to draw a line after the second digit. What we do then is to check the value of the number after, which is 6, and is it 5 or more, we would have to round up. And when we say round up, we mean plus 1. We're going to add 1 to 2. So then our answer would be 117.1, and that 2 is going to become a 3. How many digits do we have after the decimal point? 2. So the answer is 117.13. Part 3 of the question, give the answer to 2 significant figures. So we're going to write back the exact answer, 117.126. Now with significant figures, we start at the first significant number, which is 1. And then we count 1, 2. So let me just tick that. First significant number, second significant number. Then we draw a line after that second number. And as we did before, we check, is that number 5 or more? We're going to round up, which means we're going to add 1 to the value in front. So the value in front is a 1. So that's going to become a 2. So we're going to get 100. We're going to get 1, 2. Because remember, we increased this 1 by 1, which is going to give us 2. And then we're going to put a 0 to take the place of the 7. So the final answer is 120. So that's the number. The original answer, 117.126, to 2 significant figures will be 120. Part B, using a calculator or otherwise, calculate the exact value of 2 1/3 minus 1 1/2 over 1 and 5 over 6, giving your answer as a fraction in its lowest terms for 3 marks. So let's go straight into it. We're going to convert 2, I'm going to write it over here, minus 1 1/2 over 1 and 5 over 6. So I'm going to convert all my mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So that is going to give me, I'm going to multiply the whole number by the denominator, then add the numerator. Whole number by the denominator, then add the numerator. Whole number by the denominator, and then add the numerator. So that's going to give us 2 3s are 6. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1. That is going to give me 7 over 3 minus 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's 3 over 2 all over 1 times 6 is 6 plus 5, that is 11 over 6. So I'm going to do the first part. We're going to find the LCM. So 7 over 3 minus 3 over 2. The LCM is 6. 3 into 6, 3 into 6 is 2. So then we're going to multiply that 7 by 2. 2 into 6 is 3. So then we're going to multiply 3 by 3. That is going to give us 14 minus 9. And that is 5 over 6. Okay, so we have worked out the first part of the fraction, first part of this question. So now we have to divide by 11 over 6. Divide this line by 11 over 6. So let's write the division sign. Divide by 11 over 6. So remember the rule? The rule is you keep the first fraction, change the sign, and then flip. So that's going to give us 5 over 6 times, and then flip 6 over 11. And then we cancel. Is there anything here that can cancel? 6 into 6 is 1. 6 is 1. That's going to give me 5 over 11. So the answer is 5 over 11. Part C. Given that m is equals to -3, n is 2, p is -1, calculate the value of, and we have our expression here. So let's write that over here. So we have m p minus n to the second power over 3p plus m. So let's substitute. So m is -3. So I'm going to write -3, open bracket, p is -1 minus 2, second power, all over 3 by -1 plus -3. Okay, so let's work out the brackets first. So -3, and we're going to work out what the answer is here. -1 minus 2. That's going to give me a -3, and it's to the second power. 3 times -1, which is this, is -3. This plus and this minus is going to give me a -3. Okay, now the brackets here, that means -3 squared means -3 times -3, which is a +9. So we're going to get 9 in brackets and -3 on the outside over -3 minus 3. That is a -6. Okay, so if you put on a number line, we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So I'm here at -3, and I'm going to count -3. So I have to go to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3. Hence the answer, -6. So that's going to give us -27 over -6. So the two negative signs will cancel. And 27 and 6, a number that can go into both 6 and 27, that will be 3. So 3 into 6 is 2. 3 into 27 is 9. So the final answer is +9 over 2. That's an improper fraction. So we can change that into a mixed number. So 2 into 9 is 4. Remainder 1 over 2. So that's the final answer. Now we're at 1D. This is a consumer arithmetic topic, and the topic is currency exchange. And it reads, an American tourist changed US $925 into Trinidad and Tobago currency. The exchange rate was US $1 to TT $6.30. Calculate the amount of TT dollars he received. Okay, so let's write down what we know. So US $1 to TT $6.30. Good. So we want to know what is the US 925 in TT. So I'm going to write that here, 925.00. So now you have to ask yourself, what do I do with $1 to get 925? I'm multiplying by $925 to get that number. So I have to do the same thing here. Multiply this by $925, and that is going to give me 925 times $6.30. I'm going to get 5,000. Let me put it in a different color. $5,827.50. So that's the answer. I'm just going to write it here. Answer $5,827.50. Part 2. If the tourist spent TT $2,677.50 and changed the remaining TT dollars into US dollars at the same rate, how much US money did he receive? So first we have to figure out the money left back. All right. So we would have to subtract. So let's say difference is equals to the money he had in the beginning, $5,827.50. Take away the amount of money he spent, $2,677.50. Plug that into your calculator, and you are going to get 3,150. So let's write back our conversion. So it was US $1 to TT $6.30, and now we have $3,150. So we recognize that you have to figure out what is it you're multiplying the 630 by to get 3,150, considering that this is just $1. So whatever answer we get here is the answer for the US amount. So 630, we get 3,150. So that means we have to divide. So when we divide $3,150 by, so we have to divide, we recognize that, by $6.30, we are going to get $500. So that's the answer here. And you check it out. If you take $6.30 and you multiply it by 500, you are going to get the 3,150. So at the end, the answer is US $500 is what she's going to receive, or she has left. The topic here is indices. This is question 2, algebra. Simplify 3p to the second power times 6p to the fifth power. And the topic is indices. And that rule is AM times AN, which is AM plus N, what you do to the powers. So 3p to the second power times 6p to the fifth power. We're going to multiply the whole numbers. So 3 times 6 is 18. P, and then we're going to take the powers and we're going to add it. So 2 plus 5, and that's because we are multiplying, and it's because of this rule. So the answer is 18p to the seventh power. Part B, solve the equation, half y is equals to 12. What do you multiply half by to get 12? Or you can look at it this way. So we have a half y equals to 12. Now I need to get rid of this fraction. So to get rid of the fraction, we need to look at the denominator. Whatever you do to the left-hand side of the equation, you have to do it to the right-hand side. So I'm going to multiply that by 2, the left-hand side of the equation, and I have to do the same on the right. This will be 2 over 1. So 2 and 2 is 1, 2 and 2 is 1. So I'm going to left with 1y is equals to 24. Okay, let's check. So a half y is equals to 12. Let us remove the y. How are we going to put the 24? So 2 into 2 is 1. This is over 1. 2 into 24 is 12. So we got 12 is equals to 12. So it is correct. All right, this is still algebra, and we're looking at inequalities. So our inequality is 2 open bracket x minus 5 plus 6 less than 4x. So we have to remove the brackets. So 2, so I'm going to write 2 by x, and then we're going to write plus 2 by the negative 5 plus 6 is less than 4x. So we're going to get 2x minus 10 plus 6 is less than 4x. So now we're going to group like terms. Group like terms. So 2x, and I'm going to move this 4x to the other side of the equation. We're going to get a minus 4x less than. Then we're going to move the minus 10. That's going to become a positive 10. And then we're going to move this plus 6, and we're going to carry over, and that's going to become a minus 6. So 2 from 4, from 2, that's going to give me a negative 2x is less than 6 from 10, and that is a positive 4. So we're going to divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of our unknown, or our x, which is negative 2. So here we go. Negative 2x divided by negative 2 less than 4 over negative 2. Once you do that in an inequality, the inequality sign will change. So right now it is less than, it's going to become more than. But let's cancel first. And we're going to get a negative 2. So the final answer is x is more than negative 2. So here we have part 2 of the question. If x is a positive integer, list the possible values of x. So we had worked out that x is more than negative 2. So if we use a number line, that means that we're going to put our dot here. Actually, no, we're going to put a circle right over negative 2. And we're going to draw our arrow going to the right. So that's the graphical representation of x is more than negative 2. So these are all the possible values to this equation. But remember, they ask for, if x is a positive integer, list the possible values of x. So we want all the possible positive values. So it will be, let's list the values first. So more than, that means it does not include negative 2. So we're going to start from negative 1. So we're going to list negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 dot. Those are the possible solutions. We want all the positives. So then it's going to start at 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, dot, dot. All the possible positive values of x. Now this is algebra, and we're looking at simultaneous equations. So here we have our simultaneous equation. We're going to identify that this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now it is different signs add, and what we're looking at is these two signs here. Different signs add. Okay, now we need to cancel out one of these, either the x or the y, x or y. So we're going to cancel out the y terms. So we need to make the coefficient the same. And how are we going to do that? We're going to multiply equation 1 by 2 and equation 2 by 1. So 2 times 2 is 4. X plus 2 by, keep in mind that this is a 1. So then that is going to give us 2y equals 2 by 3 is 6. Now we're going to multiply equation 2 by 1. So 1 times 5 is 5. We're going to get 5x minus. And 1 times 2 is 2y. We're going to get a 12. So that cancels here. This is going to give us 0. Keep in mind, DSA. Different signs add. So when we add 4 and 5, we're going to get 9x. When we add this plus 2 and this minus 2, we're going to get 0. And 6 and 12 is 18. So 9x is equals to 18. So we're going to divide both sides by 9. And that is going to give us x is equals to 2. Then we're going to substitute x equals 2 in, and we can use any equation, equation 1 or equation 2. It's easier to do it in equation 1. So we're going to write 2x minus 1y equals 3. We don't have to write the 1, but it's minus y. So let's substitute. So 2 times 2 minus y equals 3. So that's 4 minus y equals 3. Now it's always good to check back. And if we notice when we check back equation 1, it's a plus. So let's make our corrections here. This is a plus. Plus. Okay, so then we're going to get y is equals to 3 minus this 4 on the left hand side of the equation is positive. When we carry it over the equal sign, it's going to become a minus 4. Therefore, y is equals to negative 1. Therefore, our answer is x is equals to 2 and y is equals negative 1. Let's check our answer using equation 1. So 2x plus y equals 3. So 2 by 2 and negative 1. So 2 2s are 4 plus negative 1 is equals to 3. We know that these two will give us 4 minus 1 is 3. So 3 equals 3. So it is correct. We are correct. Question 3. Consumer arithmetic topic, and this is wages and overtime. And the question reads, in a factory, all employees work a basic week of 38 hours. Let's underline that. a basic week of 38 hours. Any overtime is paid, we underline this, time and a half. If the basic hourly rate for a mechanic is $21.80, calculate his basic weekly wage. Let's underline that. So basic hourly rate is $21.80. So part 1 says his basic weekly wage. So remember we said a basic week, according to the question, is 38 hours. And the basic hourly rate is $21.80. So basic weekly wage is equals to the $21.80 times the total hours in a week, 38. Plug that in your calculator and the answer is $828.40. Part 2, the overtime wage for 1 hour worked overtime. Remember, overtime is paid for at time and a half. What does that mean? Time and a half means 1 and a half. So overtime rate would be, for a normal basic hourly rate is $21.80. So he's going to get that $21.80 plus half of $21.80, or we could just multiply it by 1.5, which is equals to, so 21.80 times 1.5 is $32.70. So that's the answer here, $32.70. Part 3 of the question reads, the wage he would receive for overtime if he worked a total of 46 hours a particular week. So let's underline that, 46 hours a particular week. So remember we were able to calculate from the previous part 1 and part 2, the overtime rate is $32.70 and the basic weekly wage, the person will earn $828.40. So if he works 46 hours, remember we said the basic week has a total of 38 hours, and we multiply the 38 by the 21.80. So first we have to find out the number of overtime hours, and that will be taking the 38 from the 46, right? Well, let me write, so we taking 46 hours, subtract 38 hours, and that is 46, subtract 30, that is 8 hours. Okay, so total wage, and this is for the 46 hours, would be the 38 times, remember we did this before, I'm just going to write it again, 2180, and we know that worked out to be 82840 plus the 8 hours overtime times 32.70. Now we didn't have to work this out again, this part here, but I'm just showing you how we got the 828 again, okay? Plus, what is 8 times 32.70? And that is $261.60. and we add that together, or we add that to the 828.40, and that is going to give us $1,090. Now we know that we could have said total wage, meaning the 46 hours, and we could have just written down the 828.40 and then just add the 8 times the 32.70. Okay, so we didn't really, I just did that extra working for you to understand what we were doing. So then we'll get 828.40 plus the 261.60, and we'll get the same total of 1090. Okay, so or here we have question 5. Trigonometry is the topic, and it reads, in the quadrilateral ABCD, not drawn to scale, and we can see the information there. Calculate the correct to 1 decimal place the length of AB. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. It is ABD, and we're asked to find AB, this length. Now we notice that we have one length of the triangle BD and 2 angles. So once you have a length and 2 angles, we know that we're going to use the sine rule, and that states, as you can see here, we have the length A over sine the angle, the length B, and that's a common B, and the angle is capital B sine B, and then C, the length, which goes with this length here, and this is the angle sine C. Now let's take out that triangle ABD. So here we have the triangle, and we're going to label it B, or I should say ABD. And let's write what we have. Here is 41 degrees, and here we have 32 degrees. And here is 8 centimeters BD, and we're asked to find the length of AB. Now that is directly opposite angle D, so I'm going to call that common D. Now let's write the sine rule. So it states A over sine A equals B over sine B and C over sine C. But we have ABD. So we could change up the formula a little bit to our diagram. So we're going to change the letter C, and we're going to change that to D. Okay, so you can do that. And we recognize that we are using what was given. So what was given is BD, and that 8 centimeters goes with angle A. Then we were asked to find the length AB, which goes with angle 41 degrees. So we're not using B, so we can ignore that, take out what we want. So that would be A over sine A equals D over sine D. Now let's substitute. So angle A, we don't know the angle, but what do we know about triangles? A triangle has 3 angles, and the total of these 3 angles is 180 degrees. So you have two of the angles already. So what would you have to do is to take 180, add up the two angles, 41 plus 32, and take it from 180. So that'd be 180 minus, and this will be angle A. And that is going to give us 41 plus 32 is 73. Angle A. And that is going to give us 107 degrees. So angle A is 107 degrees. So let's put that here. So we're going to substitute what we know into the sine rule. So angle A goes with this length. So it will be 8 over sine 107 degrees equals, let me just erase that. So then D goes with angle 41. We don't know D. So D over sine 41. Now we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to end up with D sine 107 equals 8 times sine 41. We want to find D. So then we're going to get 8 times sine 41 all over sine 107. Plug that into your calculator. You're going to get a length of D. So let's do that. So you're going to make sure that you understand how your calculator works with these trigonometric sine, cos, and tan. So, and also make sure your calculator is in degrees mode. So I'm going to write my calculator. I have to type the angle first. So 41 sine times 8. And I press equal, divided by 107 sine. And then I press equal. So I'm going to get, keep in mind that your answer has to be 1 decimal place. So on my calculator, I have 5.488. I'm going to give 4 numbers. 28. I'm going to give a little bit more. So the 1 decimal place will be 5 decimal point, 1 number, 5.5 centimeters. And that's my final answer. Here we continue with the question, the trig question, and we're asked to find angle CBA. Here we have the diagram, and we need to understand that given this diagram, we're asked to find angle CBA, which means angle B. And let me show you that. So CB, D, so angle B. So here we have 3 lengths, so 3 sides. So that is a cosine rule. And the cosine rule is here, where you have the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos c. And that angle always corresponds to the length. Okay, so you notice it's a common c. That's the length of this particular side of the triangle with its corresponding angle. So let's take out CBD and let's label it. So we have CDB. Here is 11 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 8 centimeters. and we are trying to find this angle. So we want to understand that angle B goes with 7 centimeters, just as angle D, capital D, goes with 11 centimeters. Same, angle C goes with 8 centimeters. So here is our formula, and we have B squared, because remember we're trying to find angle B. So we're gonna use B squared, because this is what we're trying to find. Actually, this is what we know, the length, 7 centimeters, but we are trying to find angle B. And now let's substitute. Now you notice we do not have an A. So can we see that the A would be D? I hope you can see that. So we're gonna fill in what we know or substitute into the formula, the cosine formula. So B squared, which is 7 centimeters, the length that corresponds with angle B. So we have 7 centimeters is equals to, remember we didn't have an A, but we're going to replace that with D. So this corresponding length for angle D is 11 centimeters. So we have 11 squared plus 8 centimeters corresponds with angle C. So we have 8 centimeters minus 2. Notice it's A, so that will be 11 times C. And we said C, it's going to be 8 times 8 times cos B. Let's work out what we know. So 7 squared is 49. 11 squared is 121. 8 squared, or 8 to the second power, is 64. Minus 2 times 11 times 8 is 176 times cos B. Let's add 121 plus 64 is 185. Then we're going to group. So the 49 and the 185, we can move the 185 to the left of this equation. So we're going to get 49 minus 185 equals, we're going to keep the sign, a negative 176 times cos B. Remember it here? Then we need to work out what is 185 from 49. We're going to get a negative 136, which is equals to negative 176 cos B, which is what we had before. Now we're trying to find cos B. So we need to make cos B the subject, because we're trying to find cos B. Keep in mind that cos B is being multiplied by negative 176. So then cos B would equals to the negative 136 as your numerator and negative 176 as the denominator, because we're cross multiplying again, right? So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. Now the two negative signs, they're going to cancel. So then we're going to get 136 over 176. Plug that into your calculator. Now, when you type 136 divided by 176, you're going to get a long number. But I was able to approximate it to 3 decimal places, 0.773. Now, we were asked to give the answer to 1 decimal place. So we don't want to do that here. We want to get a correct answer. So we're going to approximate it. We're actually converting it to 3 decimal places here. The next step, if we want to know the angle, So we have to do cos inverse 0.773. So you put that in your calculator and you should get 39.375944. Again, our answer is supposed to be to 1 decimal place. So that is going to be 39.4 degrees to 1 decimal place. This is Tatiana Math Resources, and we were looking at the Math Qualifying Examination, the year 2019. This is a request video from students. I'm going to ask you, if you like the video, don't be afraid to click like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. And if you have any requests for any videos, leave the requests in the comments below. Stay tuned for more.